Okay, how are you all? Glad to see you. I'm going to post this on YouTube, I hope. And I just wanted to tell you that I have been listening to lots and lots of different respected leaders about what's going to be on the AP test and what it's going to be like. It is going to be 45 minutes. You can use your phone or any other device like a laptop. I suggest a laptop. It is a DBQ, not what anyone expected at all. None of the experts I listened to pick this at all. So we're a little disappointed actually. But they have made it a little easier to score points. That's in our favor. The people out there that are listening to this, you guys that are really caring and going to do the work, you have a excellent chance of doing really well on this test because this is not something we haven't practiced. Many of you have had AP World and you know how to do this. It will only be one question. You will probably all get different ones, I would assume. So we just have to be ready to know the basics of any unit. It will be basic questions, likely. Evaluate the extent to which America changed because, or something like that, or the cause and effect of something. I'm betting it's just going to be pretty much a straight change, pretty much a straight question. They can't expect, they're not going to poke on some little thing. It will be a big topic. So this week's assignment that I have put online, I was heavy on you picking a review system, whether it's Tom Ritchie or Jock Z Productions or Gilder Lehrman, which is only about 18 minutes too. In fact, if you really want to pass this and do well, watch two. I gave you all kind of forms you could use to study with, including Miss Richardson's AP strategy. I will post that big packet every week. I suggest that you print one. The reviews for Gilder Lehrman are also a nice fill in the blank. And that would be great. Every time your brain touches this, remember that helps you to remember it better. I have given you an assignment of error charts. This is the same thing I do every year. And kids say, I don't like doing them, but it helped. It's just a blank sheet. Here I made a copy of it. Yours looks a little different than this because I had several versions and I printed the wrong one. And on it, for example, it's going to say migration, America in the world. That's foreign policy. Politics, geography, identity, what makes America America in a certain time period, what comes out that sounds American, is there literature, is there characteristics, American ideals, that kind of thing. Economics, just general market trends, industry, sectional issues, currency, capitalism, transportation, labor, some of those issues. Social, which includes religion, art, values, morals, group values, literature even, changing gender roles, family, teens, education. We won't see a lot of that in the time periods that we'll cover other than really modern, like progressive and that kind of thing for women. But the main women shift for women comes after World War II and after, which is not covered on this test. Education, certainly a society. We're a very religious society. We've talked about great awakenings. You can bet that might come into play here. I also list leaders so that you're going over who are the big leaders in a trend. Innovations, that's technology, railroads, electricity, steam power, the new technology of the Gilded Age, communication, telephone, telegraph, all those kinds of things, shipping, what kind of ships, faster, better, stronger. All those kinds of things are part of innovations, and when you have innovation, you have a growing economy. Groups, whenever you're in an era, are we always talking about the groups? The women, the Native Americans, immigrant groups, religious groups, utopian groups, all these kinds of groups that are impacted by a change or not impacted by a change. Sometimes they're not. People, depending on where they live, might not be impacted. For example, hot events. Is there a war here? Is there a big division? If there's an awakening of some sort, if there's a division over thinking, social gospel versus social Darwinism, slavery, of course, always. Is there hot events that are going on in that era? Even books, but migration, nativism, immigration, conflicts, city versus rural or urban versus rural, lower colonies, upper colonies, divisions, how they look at Native Americans. All of those things are going to be discussion on here. Then on the back, you have, yours doesn't look exactly like this, but it's similar. What I'm always try to get my students to do is make a timeline that's Diagon Alley. That's what I was thinking. And just a timeline of the era. About 15 main events. You've got presidents. You don't need to know every president, but do you need to know major issues in elections? 1800, 1824, even 1850, certainly 1860 Lincoln. After that, GHGA, Grover Ben Grover, Grant through the end. 1898, when you get McKinley, now we're getting into the progressive presidents, Roosevelt, Taft, and Wilson. Some of those big elections, parties formed. Think about when is the Republican Party formed? Our Democrats, our Democratic Republicans, Federalists go away. Whatever's going on in that area, you're putting on this. Now, how to turn this in. One student asked me, I'm not 100% sure, but I think just turn it in on a picture and an email would be fine. If you can do that with Google Classroom, great. Whichever way you want to do this. I mean, normally this is one of those extra grades where you would have made 100 if you did all of them. I just think it's good. You need to touch the information. Doing that. Okay, that's the assignment that I have for you. I will have a DBQ. I looked through AP Classroom and I didn't like any of them, to tell you the truth, because they covered more than just this first unit that I want to cover here. This is the American Revolution and after, getting to and after. So these 50 years here, of course, crucial to the start of a country. And I think you really want to focus on this era. I'm going to say every era because we're only going to do unit 3 through 7. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. So not that much, not as much time as we normally do, which is great since it's going to be a shorter test. Okay, let's talk about the test. 45 minutes. That does not include the uploading part, which is great. So I guess there's going to be some button they push and then you got to upload things in 5 minutes. I'm not sure, they haven't released that information. They will, so we won't worry about that. The test will not be until May 15th, so that's 1 week later than we had planned. So great, because they piddled around 2 weeks to figure out how to do this, so we kind of treaded water for a week. Okay, my plan is for you to do your own review, and then I'm going to have DBQs. Now, they have said that there's going to be a platform, it may be on Marco Learning, which is connected with Tom Ritchie, that they're going to have a way for us to do some DBQs and let them grade them. If that's the case, great. If not, then I'll be doing the best I can. So I haven't assigned that. I know some of you have already started on this week's assignment. Just do the error charts and lots of review. You'll be good. We'll be ready to write as the week progresses. So I will be adding some things during the week. We try to get those lessons done. I'm supposed to have them done by Wednesday, which I did, and then everything changed on Friday, so I had to redo. And this is Saturday at 3, and I've been working for a couple of hours already. Okay, I want to go over this, and I really want you guys to print this out. If you can't, take a picture of it and put it on your phone or have it somewhere where it is accessible easily and at all times, and especially for the day of the test. Now, I'm going to talk about this and we'll talk about the test more later, but you can have notes on that test. So a review packet, your error charts that you do, your Gilder-Lehrman notes, whatever you do that you're actually writing out a packet for each unit, great. Have it out on your desk and anticipate what a DBQ might be over that, and I'll give you some, so you'll be able to prepare ahead of time. Now, do not write them out ahead of time, because they'll know if it looks like something you wrote out. They're going to have all kind of algorithms that they're saying that they can protect from cheating, but they say you can have notes out, but it's 45 minutes. You don't have time to look at many notes. One of the things I want you to accomplish by looking at DBQs is looking at the documents. So this test will have 5 documents, not 7. So every time you open up something and you read a little Thomas Paine, or you look at some cartoons, or you listen for something from Teddy Roosevelt, or you look at some cartoons, you are preparing yourself for those 5 docs. So when you see them, you're not going, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, I never heard the Gettysburg Address. So you don't have to hardly even read them. You already know ahead that that is something from Harriet Tubman, or that is Ain't I a Woman. Things like that you already know. We won't hit them all, but hopefully we will. We got a lot of time period, and we only got 5 docs, so it's kind of hard to do. But we will. We're doing the best we can. That's why all of those reviews are good, especially somebody's PowerPoint. They'll put pictures in there. They might have a sinners in the hand of an angry God, whatever it could be. We want to be prepared. If it says Howard Zinn, you know what he's thinking. If it says Patriots, History of America, you know what he's thinking. If it's from an anti-imperialist, Andrew Carnegie or somebody, you know what that means. If it's from Teddy, you know what that means. So we want you to be so familiar. That's not anything that takes any time. It's just in your brain. Alrighty. Now, let's look at the rubric, and please print this out. It's very similar to one, it may be backwards in the camera, but it's very similar to one that I gave you. This is Tom Ritchie's. He's redone it very quickly. I don't know how the man, he must never sleep, has done it for this. Instead of being 7 points, the DBQ is now 10. Our goal, according to Tom Ritchie, is that we make at least a 6 out of 10 points. And I'm going to give you some more strategies later about how to do that and find out what you're good at. So it gives you a little leeway of, hey, I'm not really great at hipping the document, so I can stay away from that. But I need to score 10 points. So one way is contextualization. We worked on that. But many of us are still having trouble. My message to you is read this and stay in the time period of the question. You may have one sentence about leading into it, the Depression before the Civil War, or World War II or something like that, but get to it. Talk about that era, broad context, before, during, and after, but usually it's most times spent on kind of what's going on in the era. Talk about presidents in that era and trends there. Okay, thesis. Got to have this one, but it's only worth 1 point, but you pretty much have to have it to organize your whole essay. All right, documents. You only have 5. You only have to explain or use the description point here. 2. We were working on 4. Now you only have to have 2. So certainly you can write about 2 documents and explain them. Using them in your argument. 2 documents, use them in your argument. Remember, we want that insurance, so we may say 3. If you use 4, you get another point. So remember, we were having to do 6. Now you only have to do 4 to get an extra point. So that's 1 point, 2 points right here. Another 2 points are hipping. If you hip 1 document, that's a point. If you hip 2, that's 2 points. Okay, y'all can do that with your eyes closed. Remember, point of view, historical context, intended audience, those things, purpose. I mean, when you tell me about the document, you're going to probably end up just telling me about the purpose or the contents. If I'm looking kind of stupid, I'm doing to try to get your attention. Alrighty, so look how many, this is 5 points of using documents. So if you did a thesis, and use these documents this way, is that our 6 points for a passing grade? Yes. Now, we want insurance, so we really want to aim for a 7, right? Maybe 8. 9 is probably going to be a 5. A 4 on the test will be a, 7 to 8. 6 is probably passing. Remember, 550,000 people take this test. Most of them ain't going to work at home too well. I hope that's not you. All right? So, specific historical evidence, outside evidence. You do 1 stinking piece of outside evidence and use your short answer skill to explain why that answers the question and why it's a good example. Tell me what that example is. Let's say Kansas-Nebraska Act. That was a law that did blah, blah, blah. Now I've described it and explained it. Now I'm going to tell me why it answers this question about a cause of the Civil War. You do that like you've been practicing in short answer. That's 1 point. You do that with 2 pieces of outside information, 2 points. Okay, you guys know tons of facts, serial numbers. You can do this. Rosie the Riveter. Alrighty, so 2 points available here. Just 2 pieces of outside evidence, you get 2 points, not 1. Alrighty, so again, recapping, point for context, point for thesis. Describe 2 documents, which is for us, tell me what the Kansas-Nebraska Act is. Tell me what this graph is. Tell me about it. And then use it in the argument. Okay, use 2 of those in the argument, that's 2 points. And just hit 2 documents, that's 2 points. Oh my gosh, print this out. Every time we write a DBQ, should this be right next to you? It should. Alrighty, historical evidence. That's outside evidence where you use it. You tell me what it is and how it answers your question. What it is, cite it, and explain how it answers your question. Okay? All right, and down here, here's our point of complexity. This is, if you have time and you can do this too, tell me how this reminds you, explain how this reminds you of another time period. If it's talking about women's rights in the 1830s, which changed a tad, but not all that much, you might want to talk about a different time period where it changed a little bit more, maybe progressive era when they get the right to vote. Or how about you talk about, if it's progressive era questioning, you write about a time where they didn't have very many rights, but they tried in the 1830s and 40s, Seneca Falls, 1848. Talk about African American issues. Always know that thread through American history. Know the thread of growing democracy through the history, through the eras. Okay, we'll be going over this more. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I put this on a Google Classroom. Print it out, please. If you can't, let me know. I may mail you one. So let's get these. This is the Bible of what we're going to be needing to do. So we want this, and I think this is nice and clear and simple, 1 page. Now I sent you a link for a Marco Learning video. I'll probably have more of those to send you, and some more for me. This has been almost 17 minutes. That's good. That's all we need. Hey, miss you guys. We'll be up and running on Zoom at 11 on Monday and at 2:30, so I can get you people to sleep late. So hope to see you then. Hope you're okay. And I do have cabin fever. That's why I have so much energy. I need to go do something. All right. Miss you guys. Take care. Let me know if you need anything.